So, can you really master ballroom dance at home? I mean, without a sprawling studio, giant mirrored walls, or, even a partner to accidentally step on? It's one of those questions that stops a lot of aspiring dancers right in their tracks. We kind of just assume that without a massive parquet floor and an instructor literally physically moving our arms for us, progress is basically impossible. But what if the key to unlocking your absolute best technique is actually right there in your living room?
Welcome to The Explainer. I'm super excited you're joining me today because we are breaking down a really fascinating roadmap drawn straight from expert insights on how to practice ballroom dance at home. My goal for us today is to prove that real, tangible technique growth can happen right between your couch and your coffee table. As long as you're disciplined about your fundamentals, you can build an incredibly solid foundation.
Okay, let's dive right into this. We've got a highly practical, step-by-step roadmap to get through today. We're going to cover setting up your space, structuring your practice, focusing on posture and timing first, tackling footwork and solo partnering, and finally, how to record, review, and refine.
All right, step 1. Setting up your space and building a safe environment.
Now, these adjustments are simple, but they are absolutely vital. Think of this literally like laying a solid foundation before you try to build a house. If your physical environment isn't prepped, everything else you try to build on top of it is just going to be unstable. Ballroom requires controlled turns and very specific foot placement, right? You don't need a massive ballroom, but you do need safe room to travel, pivot, and change directions. First things first, clear those tripping hazards. Kick that rug out of the way. Next, your footwear actually really matters. You need supportive shoes, or if your floor at home is super slippery, throw on some dance sneakers with minimal grip so you don't go sliding out from under yourself. But here's the real pro tip for home practice. If you're dancing solo, place markers on the floor. Grab some simple tape dots or little plastic cones. These represent your starting points or your travel paths. By marking out these simple lanes, you're giving yourself visual boundaries. It completely helps you safely rehearse direction changes without feeling crowded or, accidentally crashing into your bookshelf.
Moving on to step 2, structuring your practice and building consistency.
Look at this number, 3 to 5. That right there is your magic number. Practicing 3 to 5 days a week is the absolute sweet spot for locking in that muscle memory. A repeatable, predictable structure is always going to yield better results than some random, chaotic 3-hour marathon session you do once a month. Consistency matters so much more than just exhausting yourself in one go. You really want frequent, focused touches on the material.
And this brilliantly illustrates what one of those focus sessions should actually look like. It's a precise chronological progression. You don't just blast some music and start flailing around. First, give yourself a 5 to 10 minute warm-up just to get the body ready. Second, dedicate the bulk of your time, say 20 to 30 minutes, strictly to fundamental drills. We'll get into what those are in a sec. Third, spend 15 to 20 minutes entirely on timing and footwork practice. And finally, cap it off with a 10 to 15 minute routine review or a mock syllabus set. This is kind of your shorter performance segment where you piece it all together. Oh, and definitely keep notes on what feels a little shaky during this final phase. Doing that makes your next practice session even smarter.
Which brings us to section 3, posture and timing first. Trust me, this is the absolute fastest way to level up.
Okay, I know it is incredibly tempting to jump straight in and try to learn all the flashy, complex figures, but you have to prioritize your foundation first. I'm talking upright posture, relaxed shoulders, an engaged core, and a nice controlled head position. Honestly, you can even just practice stillness drills. Literally just stand and hold, breathe steadily, and keep your alignment while shifting your weight. It creates this amazing feeling of a stable base. To really master that timing and base, we use something called the mark and move drill. It's exactly what it sounds like. Place one foot exactly where it should go, pause to make sure you have total control, and only then actually take the step. Ballroom footwork is entirely driven by timing. You want to use music with a super clear beat and keep it at a slow, very repeatable tempo. Try starting by just counting aloud or clapping the beat. Then use this mark and move drill. If you catch your feet rushing or dragging behind, that's your cue to slow the track down even more. Just focus entirely on clean transitions. Doing this drill is going to ensure your timing becomes remarkably consistent without ever rushing the beat.
All right, step 4, footwork and solo partnering to build up your accuracy.
Once your posture and timing are locked in, then it's time to actually start moving through your sequences. But again, hold your horses. We aren't jumping into full routines just yet. Practice your forward and backward actions, your side steps and pivots completely separately. Really focus on that proper heel-toe placement. And when you do finally start combining them,
use really short loops, just 4 to 8 counts. Drill that one short loop repeatedly until it feels rock solid, and only then add the next 4 to 8 counts. It reduces confusion and safely builds your accuracy. But what if you don't have a partner? Partner coordination can definitely feel like a huge missing puzzle piece when you're all alone. You have to simulate it in a structured way. So this is where the concept of the leader line comes in handy. If you're a solo dancer, you can practice your leads by rotating around a fixed marker, like one of those tape dots we threw down earlier, while keeping your posture completely stable as you change direction. It is fantastic because it perfectly simulates the spatial awareness and core control you'd normally need for partner coordination, ensuring you aren't just kind of wandering aimlessly around the room.
And finally, Section 5, record, review, and refine. Essentially, how to be your own teacher. This right here is the ultimate secret weapon of home practice. Because you don't have an instructor standing right there in the room to tap your shoulder and fix your frame, video feedback becomes your absolute best substitute for a studio lesson. But here is the trick, and it's a big one. Only record 30 to 60 seconds of a drill or routine at a time. I'm talking seconds here, not minutes. Do not set up your camera and record an entire hour of practice. Let's be real, you are never going to sit down and watch it. Set your phone on a tripod or a stable shelf at a consistent angle so you can easily compare your sessions day to day. Capture a short burst, then immediately stop and review it for any repeat issues. When you watch that quick clip back, run through this exact diagnostic checklist. Ask yourself, am I actually staying upright through the movement? Is my timing truly consistent with the beat I'm hearing? Are my feet landing accurately and directly under my body, or are they kind of trailing behind me? Are my turns smooth, or do they look totally rushed? Identify the issues, but please, hear me on this warning. Only choose 1 or 2 fixes per week. Trying to correct every single thing on this list all at once will absolutely overwhelm you, and it'll slow your progress to a total crawl. Pick one thing, master it, and then move down the list.
So, how does this all come together? It really boils down to this ultimate philosophy for home practice, the spectator mindset versus the student mindset. When you're using instructional videos, you cannot just be a passive spectator who simply watches and, loosely imitates the movements. You have to be an active student. That means you don't just imitate, you verify. You pause the video, you try the steps slowly, you replay the video to compare your form. If a move feels off, you break it down, you slow the tempo way down, isolate the pivot, and then carefully put the sequence back together. It has to be an active, analytical process.
Look, when you put all this together, a safe space, a structured schedule, focused drills, and active video review, the results are honestly undeniable. Smart home practice builds the absolute ultimate foundation for your return to studio classes and social dancing. Setting realistic little milestones, like just aiming to land your steps under your body consistently, that translates directly to real technique growth. When you eventually step back into a studio or hit the floor for some social dancing, your technique is going to feel so much more familiar, stable, and controlled. You won't be starting from scratch, you'll be building on a rock-solid base that you literally built yourself.
So I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. Are you ready to clear out some space and take that very first step? The blueprint is right here. The only thing left is for you to push that coffee table aside, stick down your tape dots, and just start moving. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, happy dancing!